Hey folks, hope you're having a great Saturday wherever you're at. Why do we practice centering prayer? I practice centering prayer because God is the center of my life. You know, we practice centering prayer because God is the center of our life. You know, Nothing is more important to me than my love for God. Nothing is more important to you than your love for God. I discovered centering prayer in late 2013. Prior to that, I had just been practicing sitting in silence, and it was brutal because I didn't know what to do in this silence. I just knew it was powerful, I knew it was transforming, and I knew there was something there, and I knew that I met God in the silence. So I would just practice it. But it was brutal, and I would set a timer on my phone for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Then in late 2013, I was perusing Amazon looking for a book to read, and I came across Amos Smith's book, Healing the Divide, Recovering Christianity's mystic roots. And in this book, he talked about a practice that he had been doing for some 15 years called centering prayer as a way of sitting in the silence and connecting to God beyond words, beyond thoughts, beyond images. And that immediately intrigued me. Continued to read the book, reached out to him, began a back and forth dialogue with him, and really more importantly, I began practicing centering prayer for myself. And I jumped in the centering prayer swimming pool June 1, 2014. Not so sure what was so magical about that date, but that was the date I decided I was going to stop dabbling in centering prayer and practice this as seriously as possible and faithfully as possible twice a day for 20 minutes and see what would happen. And I haven't looked back. As much as possible, I continue to practice centering prayer twice a day. Since then, some 8, 9 years later, here we are. My life springs forth from God within, and your life can spring forth from God within, because during centering prayer, we open to the presence and actions of God within. When I let go of me and open to the presence and actions of God within, my life unfolds exactly as it should. And that's vital, but it's very trusting when we consent to the presence and actions of God within and surrender to God and just trust God. Our life does unfold exactly as it should. We just have to trust the process. And your life will do the same as you open to the presence and actions of God within, surrender to God, trust God, and continuously come to your sits and let go of who you are not and open to who you are, the person God wants you to be. Um, your life will unfold exactly as it should. And sometimes this is outside of my comfort zone. And it's scary, but that's really where I should be. And some examples from my own life since practicing centering prayer. It has changed my life. It has healed me. It has transformed me. God has graced me with a ton of fruits because I've opened to the presence and actions of God within. I'm a much more calmer person. I'm less reactive. I'm more willing to move out of my comfort zone and try and do new things. I have more of an excitement for life because I think I'm living more in the present moment and what the present moment requires of me. I'm a much more confident person in myself. Um, and many of the things I'm doing were never on my radar screen. My website, that's some 5 years old at this point. The book that I published in August of 2020. The teaching I do, the jumping on podcasts, the teaching in front of small and large groups, Zoom book studies that I've done, Zoom centering prayer sessions with Brian Russell, a fellow author of a centering prayer book that we did a few weeks ago, and we're going to be doing another one on April 9th together, and then May 21st. And my one-on-one coaching. These are things that were not even on the radar screen prior to centering prayer. But because I've opened to the presence and actions of God within, they're now on my radar screen. And even in my everyday work. I work from home, and I've been working from home for the last 2 years. I work in the financial services industry and service large corporate 401k accounts and really run their plans on a daily basis. Centering prayer really has infused me with confidence as I do this. Centering prayer has infused me with confidence in talking with them when I'm on a phone call or on a conference call or at a meeting presenting topics to them, or even just trying to figure out how to do something because I've asked a question and I need to figure out how to do it. Centering prayer has infused me with confidence to do this, and centering prayer has infused me with productivity. I know I have a ton of items on my need to do list, and I'm better able to hone in on the 1, 2, 3 items that need to get done that day and let go of the other what seems like 20 or 30 things that can just wait. So it's given me a better opportunity or a better way of honing in and focusing on the present moment and what it requires for me, for my clients that I service, and letting go of the things that aren't important that day. So centering prayer really can, your life will unfold exactly as it should as you practice centering prayer, whether it's on in your work life and even with your family. I learned to let go of what a Saturday or Sunday doesn't require of me and be with my wife and be with my children and be with friends and family and let go of the other things that aren't needed during the weekend. The silence of centering prayer teaches me who I am and the actions I am to take. And sometimes these are non-actions. And what I mean by that is, sometimes silence is the best action, and people just want to be heard and they don't want a reaction. Other times, you're not the right person for the action and someone else is better suited. And sometimes an action is required, but you need to wait, and maybe the action doesn't need to take place right away. So centering prayer teaches me, the actions I am to take on a daily basis, the non-actions I am to take, as well as when to be patient and when I need, to take action. As God I meet in the depths of silence, and it is God that you'll meet, in the depths of silence. And I think of it as I sit with God, and then I get up and I partner with God as I move through life. And the same thing will happen to you. You sit with God and connect with God, and then you get up and walk with God. And you're never alone. It's a constant presence. God is a constant loving presence with you, partnering with you as you move through life. And that's how I think about it. God is my lifelong partner, and these centering prayer sits are my time to sit with God, connect with God, let go of who I am not, and become who I am, and then get up from my sits and walk with God and partner with God. And I do them twice a day because I need to do them twice a day. And I love God and I want to sit with God. My first sit is first thing in the morning, and my second sit is usually right before lunch. And actually right now work's been a bit busy, so I've added a third sit and just shortened the last two. And I do 3 sits. And I'll probably move back to 2 sits when work calms down. So that's all. I just wanted to pop on and talk about, why do we practice centering prayer and share a little bit about my own journey and how it has impacted me. Feel free to visit me at silenceteaches.com. Much love to all of you, and I'm wishing you a great rest of the Saturday, wherever you're all at. Take care, everybody.